Hey, my name is Chad. Welcome to this little video where I want to look at some powder dropping. So I'm loading up some 223 ammo with some 77 grain Sierra Match Kings for my long range attempt at working out to 745, 750 yards to hit a 12 by 20 silhouette. So what I'm planning on doing is loading up some tack and some of that new Winchester, the Staball Match, and see, which is going to work better. I'm thinking they both will work fine, but I want to see if one will slightly outperform the other, and then, load up a larger amount of ammo from that. But to get started with that, I need to get my initial loads going. So we're going to load up 22, 22 and a half, 23, and 23 and a half grains. And I'm just going to do 5 of each, and we'll see kind of where velocities are, and from there start fine-tuning it a little bit closer. So let's take a look at this. I wanted to show off that Frankford Arsenal powder drop. I filmed this last night with the tack, and I had a few issues because I did not use any dryer sheets in here when I put it all together. Okay, so this right here is the Frankford Arsenal. I used a Lee stand just because it is super sturdy, and I wanted to make sure and have a good solid base that I can lift up and move around to wherever I need it. All right, main thing that I want to show off on this, let me grab my pan just in case I got a little bit left in here, but this is a very smooth action. Like, do you hear that? Let me get closer here with the microphone. So there are bearings here in the drum housing that allows this to turn very smoothly, and I'm super impressed with it. And then we've got this micrometer adjustment knob here. This is the standard drum that comes with it, and it's for, I forget the grain weight range, but it's for large amounts. They do make a pistol drum kit here, and that's for a 2.5 to 50 grain charge. So I was thinking about using this since the grains that I'm working with are kind of right in the middle of that range, but so far it's been pretty accurate with just running normal. So anyways, it's impressively smooth, got it locked down nice here. So let's go ahead and load up with some of this Staball and see how we do here. Okay, so last night, after I got done with the tack, I was going to clean this out, and I realized that I had a bunch of static electricity down here in this hopper. So this is actually plastic. Everything else in here is metal. So I was getting grains stuck here, so took it apart, cleaned it all up, and I'll cut in some footage of that just so you could see what we had there. I'm hoping that the normal dryer sheet trick will work here. So we'll find out when I go in to clean it up. So another thing we're going to look at is right here. I upgraded to this scale just because it is considerably more accurate. And I was using this little Frankford Arsenal, but with this thing, you cannot trickle up and get anywhere close to an accurate charge. At least in my opinion. Other people may have different luck, but let's get this zeroed out and just see where we're at here to start out. Okay, so this should be fairly close to the 22 range. Let's just see where we drop. So Frankfurt's telling me 20.5, and this one is telling me 20.42. So that's kind of what I was having problems with is this seemed to always round off a little bit differently. All right, we're going to dump this in the little trickler and take another. So obviously with a new load, we want to get a couple runs in. So that's at 20.4. So I'm going to say this powder is metering slightly different than the tack, even though they're both a ball powder. All right, 20.18. I'm going to say we definitely need to come up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, let's go 5. That should put me around 21. Let's go right about there. And I'm at 21 there. And 20.98. So yeah, the Frankfurt definitely likes to round up. Right about there. I want to leave a little throw under so that I can trickle up. Okay, so that's giving me 21.2. And I should be pretty close. 21.26. So that's where it is. This is always going to round a little bit differently. And I like being able to go to the next decimal point over. All right, so let's take a look at this and just start getting this 22 loaded up here. So as you can see, we're at 21.1. And then we'll try and trickle up to 22, but I tend to have bad luck with this. The scale is just not accurate. Anyway, so now we're at 21.5, but I have found that trickling up with this is not always accurate, especially around the 23 grain mark, which is where my tack load for the 55 grains was being pretty consistent. Okay, so there's the problem right there. So we went from 21.9 and we jumped to 22.1. And that has been my issue with this, is we don't get a good per grain increment. So 22.3, but I just want to show off that the Frankford Arsenal, it's okay, I think, for comparing stuff, but when it comes to actually trickling up, not the best. So I need 0.22 right now. I'm going to have a slightly different reading here because I will be dealing with a little bit of airflow. All right. See what this says now with the lid closed. All right, just a hair off. Let's see if we can drop 1 grain out. Okay, I call that a winner. Close enough for what I'm needing right now. So we'll go ahead and drop that one in. I'm going to go ahead and move this. So when I'm doing these, I'm going to have different notes here. So I've got the match 22, 2.5, 23, and 23.5, and I will alternate these. So we're going to do one side here. So I'm going to take that one in, drop it down there, and then after I'll pull my bullets as I go to seat them from these trays so I can keep everything straight. Okay, so I wanted to show one more thing off. I did manage to get all these loaded up, so I've got 22, 22.5, 23, and 23.5 grains. I will get the bullet seated here in a little bit. This Staball Match, if you are interested, it does fill the case pretty well. And just kind of comparing it visually to the tack, it looks like they're very close to the same. I will say I had to make a few adjustments with the micrometer here, more than I did with the tack. So I want to show off just how, kind of do a test with both the Staball Match and this dropper and see how accurate it's going to be on the scale. All right, so we are zeroed out here. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen. My air conditioner just turned on. So yeah, I'm getting a little fluctuation. So we'll drop the lid. All right, 2348. My last charge weight was 23.5. So you can see I was getting very close with just what I was throwing. .36, so we're within 0.12 of a grain. .46, so within 0.02 of the first one. So this is pretty accurate to getting you within 0.1 of your target. And this is with the rifle. Forgot the name of the rifle drum here. So 2348 again. So like I said, this is surprisingly accurate for the price it is. All right. Give one more just for good measure. And 2346. So, besides that one that was closer to 0.12 off, these are all within 0.02 of each other. So that's, good job, Frankford Arsenal. That's very repeatable. What I really want to look at is to see how this is going to go back in since I applied the dryer sheets here. Okay, let's take a look and see how we do. Okay, so see if you can see down in there. There's not as much as there was on that baffle in there, but I do still have a few pieces, so let's give it another couple of swacks on the side. There we go. I need my pan back. I want to say that is pretty well cleaned out. Well, we got it pretty well. Like I said, there's just a few granules in there stuck on that baffle. But for the most part, either the Staball Match just poured out better, or it's just from the dryer sheets. So I did find one little trick. So I got a little paintbrush, and then I just don't use it for painting. So I'll use it, get down in there. And then I'll use this to clean up anything here that's left on my bench. See, I got a few granules floating around there. So that's one of my little tricks. If anybody wants to copy that, more than welcome to. Hey, if you like getting a look at loading up some powder charge weights for my 77 grains that we're going to try to get out to 750 yards, I'd appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe so you can come along with me as we work out to 750 yards. I'd appreciate it a lot. I hope you liked looking at this Frankford Arsenal powder drop. It's been very consistent and super smooth running the handle for me. I'm liking it a lot. If you got any questions, ask them down below and come on back for the next one. I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe and like the video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.